Oilers Nation After Dark begins now.
A bit of a snooze fest tonight in Montreal, the biggest mid-off you've ever seen. Now, you might have thought that this was the second half of a back-to-back by the Edmonton Oilers effort level tonight, but I regret to inform you that that was, in fact, the first half, as they will have to play once again tomorrow. My, oh my, they had that effort with a day of rest in between, I might add, as the Edmonton Oilers deliver a stinker yet again and lose 3-0. I repeat, 3-0 to the Montreal Canadiens. Shut out by the Habs, man. Just let that sink in. Let that sink in. It's a little bit of a new low right now. Hello and welcome to Oilers Nation After Dark. I'm your host, Aaron Bordato, joined by one Zach Laing. Fully expect the chat to be spicy again as it was Saturday night and arguably more fired up tonight. I see Psychos is in. Not again. JHB, no gas, even with a day break. He also said, too old, plain and simple. Ryan S., fire the goalie coach, fire Bowman, play the hits. Ryan S., when the bad errors happen, this team deflates, says Eyes Within. Starting over at 61. Yo, shout out to you, man. Way to get on the internet. Pathetic effort. Southpaw. Well, shit. Here we go again. A little GTA reference in there. Abby Hoffman with arguably the most confusing comment of the day. Trade for Trevor Zegras. How the hell is that going to fix any effort on this team? Tony, I think maybe a little bit of an overreaction. I hope they tear everything down and rebuild. Take a breath, everybody. I understand being frustrated. And I see Bo says, I mean, it's far from cooked. LMAO. My short for Giant storyline this evening was defense, defense, defense. I guess I should have made it literally everything offense and defense. Maybe not goaltending. I don't know about you. I saw way too many errors in the Oilers' defensive end. Josh Brown messing up pucks all over the place. Kind of every defenseman. And then stagnant, boring, standing around, floating offense from the Edmonton Oilers. And Patrick, you had to confirm something for us in the middle of that game. Can you please let the folks know?
Yeah, let me just check my phone here. They were, in fact, this is the Montreal Canadiens, 6-10-2 coming into this game, meaning 30th in the NHL with a .389 win percentage.
So that was the team that was out there this evening because my, oh my, the effort. We talked, the worry. These Edmonton Oilers in the history tend to play down to their opponents from time to time. Zachary, I think it's pretty fair to say that happened this evening.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like, I thought it was a decent first period.
Yeah, they had so many chances.
They had a couple of really good looks. And then, man, it was like they just fell asleep in the second and third periods. And it just is it's a weird one. I mean, we talked about it before the game. Like, this is kind of the game where you want to see them beat the wheels off of an opponent.
It was a get-right spot through and through.
Get-right spot, and they did not get right. So, that was pretty ugly, to say the least. On the plus side, and we'll talk about this later on, too, like, quick reset, play again tomorrow night in Ottawa, right? I don't know. It's kind of a weird one.
Flush it, brother. I don't know how many times I've sat in this chair and said, literally take the tape and literally go bury it outside because there's nothing you can learn from tonight, or you can learn what not to do, maybe you could say. So, let's start off the hop. You get shut out, we got to talk offense because the Oilers' scoring woes continue to be a problem for this team. That was the story of the first period. It was kind of the story of the entire game. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins had 5 shots on goal in the night. He had 4 in the first period, no goals. Zach Hyman had 4, no goals, fanning on what would have been a highlight reel McDavid goal, or assist, I should say, McDavid highlight. Bouchard and Kulak, ripping pucks in the point, just could not find the net. But it was the way the offense looked throughout. Just soft, perimeter-style offense, afraid to get into the dirty areas, just little touch passes back and forth, trying to make pretty plays, and you could even bring it to the power play. So much standing around, it drove me absolutely insane. And I saw a comment here, it said power play. Everyone but 97 was standing still. Pat, that final power play, literally everyone but 97 was standing around. And even when the Oilers do get their chances, Zach Hyman runs 100 miles per hour straight into the net and takes it off of his moorings. Well played by Sam Montembeault to bump that off. Fair play, but Zachary, once again, the Edmonton Oilers offense looked bad tonight, dude.
Yeah, it's weird, man. It is really weird because, you know, the Oilers really tried to address some of these concerns this offseason, picking up Jeff Skinner. We talked about this in the pregame show, playing on the fourth line. I actually thought it looked pretty good tonight. Like, he looked
hit his shot prop.
He did. Hopefully you guys tell Bordzy's bankroll. You know, yeah, like I thought he looked fine tonight, but again, it just is a real lack of offense from this team who's supposed to be offensively very, very good. You know, Connor McDavid did not have a good night. Leon Draisaitl did not have a good night. They did not look engaged in this game whatsoever. There was a couple moments again in the first, few scoring chances, few opportunities, few good looks, but a lot of stuff from the perimeter, man. And that was
crazy
too. Like, it just was, they're not getting to the dirty areas of the ice. They're not getting inside on the Habs. Defenders, it just was a really, really kind of sad game to watch overall.
Like, we sat here, we'll go through the good, the bad, and the oily, and it was like pulling teeth today to try and decide some things. And we're pulling straws here. We're trying to find. I see RX says easy to defend perimeter play. No surprise when we can't score, and why Bouchard gets all the shots blocked. Of course, Evan Bouchard's name going to be mentioned a lot tonight. Embers says this team is painfully mid. When do we bust out the map for pods? I've said minimum 30 games. I'm not doing that. I don't want to do the map. I'm going to do the map if it's funny. And right now, it's just not funny. I'm not laughing. It's
just
with the lack of goals from the AI. I just feel like I'm kicking a guy when he's down, and I don't want to do that. We can talk as well here. The goaltender tonight for the Edmonton Oilers, Calvin Pickard this evening. Stuart Skinner gets the night off. He'll be back tomorrow. Calvin Picks, let me know in the chat what you thought. I mean, when your team doesn't score a goal in front of you, what do you want from your backup goaltender? But he made 22 of 24 saves. Only allowed 2 goals against a very mid offense. And I thought Picks tonight, solid, gave them a chance to win. But as I said, you don't score any goals. It's kind of a moot point. He probably wants the Caden Gooley short side one back. Yeah. But, I mean, that was a pretty passing play, which once again was the Oilers' inability, lack of execution, whatever you want to say, to get pucks out of their own end. Let's talk about that, Zach, because we're going 7 defensemen. There are some new changes in there, but it felt like Josh Brown, even Brett Kulak had some errors. Emerson, I thought, was pretty good throughout. Boo struggling. Everybody in the back end just making simple errors in their own end where pucks got all the way to the blue line, but not out. Then creates cycle opportunities for the Habs, wears them down. You're then out there for 90 seconds, 120 seconds. The defense tonight in our own end was brutal. It's going to be the word of the day.
Yeah, absolutely. Not a very good night from the Oilers defensively, right? Like, it didn't really feel like there was a ton of really, really dangerous looks that the Habs had. Obviously, they were able to capitalize on the ones that they did. But again, it was like you said, like it was just struggling to get pucks out. They could not break up the cycle in the defensive zone. Trying to, as best as they could, to kind of keep him to the outside. But even at that, they didn't do the greatest of jobs. So, yeah, that one was a really not great defensive.
Yeah, I see it's from here. Albert, he just says, I don't know what to say. How do you think I feel, brother? And I got to fill some time here. Fighting Amish said Picks looked good with little to no support, unfortunately. Kiana, Picks made some great saves off rebounds. Probably the only good for tonight, number one. Pickard play well. He did his job, and I said it on pregame. The word I always use with Picks, solid. He's not great. He's not bad. And for a backup goaltender, he does everything that you need. And yes, you cherry pick matchups for Calvin Pickard. That's what every backup goaltender is supposed to do. And do you agree? Calvin Pickard, this game, not on him whatsoever. We've been blaming goaltenders a lot this season. It is all about the 18 skaters on the ice tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was everything in front of him was awful. I thought he did a good enough job to win this game for the Edmonton Oilers. He kept him in it, only allowed 2 goals against. The offense just couldn't get going. And I was just taking a look at some of the numbers. 19th game of the season here. The 9th game of the year, the Oilers have scored 2 or fewer goals in a game. They've lost all of those games, which isn't a real shocker. But yeah, it's pretty ugly. Like, it's basically like when the Oilers score 3 or more goals, they win. And if they don't score 3 goals, they're losing. So yeah, really ugly. Like, they got to figure out how to kind of get this ship righted pretty quickly.
I can also give you a stat. You're going to lose 100% of games when you don't score a goal whatsoever. And a nice place to get some easy goals tends to be, Zachary, with the man advantage. And tonight, the Edmonton Oilers, they did nothing with it. They go 0 for 3 on the evening, and it was the look of some of those power plays, standing around, floating around, just puck watching. Yes, the Habs came in with a respectable penalty kill tonight. They were 13th in the NHL, 81%, but it's the Edmonton Oilers, and it's been an up and down road so far with the penalty kill. Beginning of the season, looked bad with the eye test. Hit a stretch here lately where maybe not producing as much as you liked, but it was starting to look better. Tonight, way back to the beginning of the season with just stagnant, no communication, no moving. Pat, and we hate to do it to a guy, Jeff Skinner, because we were watching him specifically this evening. There was a power play that PP2 was out there. Jeff Skinner stood on the blue line for 20 to 30 seconds without moving his goddamn feet, even one time. I don't know what you expect to happen there, and it wasn't just PP1. It was PP2. It was all over the place, and I don't know, man. 19 games, like you just mentioned. That is almost a quarter of the season. You know what you are at this point, and we are a less than stellar power play team right now. And I know people online talking about switching it up, making some moves. PP1 wasn't good. PP2 was no better. Zachary, where are you at with the power play right now?
Yeah, I think it's time to make some personnel changes.
Yeah, there's got to be. Like, this is
got to make some changes here. I think probably bump Nuge off, get Jeff Skinner on there. He's at least shooting the puck. You know, like he's at least getting shots. You know, and that's what the thing is with his power play right now. They had 3 power play opportunities tonight. They generated 10 shot attempts on those. 5 of them actually hit the net, and only 2 of them were considered high danger scoring chances. That's nowhere near good enough for this Oilers power play right now. They're not generating a lot of looks. They're not generating dangerous looks. It's a lot of stuff kind of coming from the outside, and that's the biggest problem right now with the Edmonton Oilers.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you think about them last year, like how many goals did Zach Hyman score with his ass in the blue paint? You know what I mean? Like he was always planted there scoring goals. We haven't seen one of those so far this season. We're a quarter of the way into the season. It's not like we're in panic mode or anything like that, because this team's good enough to find their way, but it's kind of like getting to almost a bit of a breaking point where it's kind of like, okay, sooner rather than later, they're going to have to kind of find this next level. They're going to have their, and I use air quotes here, 16-game winning streak here soon, where that was like a point in the season where I was like, holy shit, this team is legit. Like, oh, wow, okay, they are legit. Like, this team does not look legit right now. They don't look like they should be in the playoff picture whatsoever.
Yeah, it's the inconsistent effort. One night they look okay, and then you get some of this, and you're like, how can you not beat the Montreal Canadiens? Yeah. I do say, see in here, I am about switching up the power play. Like you mentioned on pre-gaming today, right? That it's the classic cliche line. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. Now, that doesn't fully apply to the Oilers because we've also seen them, these 5 guys, do this time after time, year after year. But as I said, 19 games is no small sample size. And right now, you need to switch something at, inject some energy, do it for a game or 2, and then go back to the guys. Who knows? I see, who was it in here? Avi said Hyman. Oh, wait, nope, that's not it. He said another word. Hyman and Nuge are just standing around doing nothing. And I totally agree. Zach Hyman, I could maybe understand more. Your ass is planted in that blue paint. Nuge just straight up ain't moving on that. Draisaitl tonight didn't look as engaged on the power play. And once again, he just lived by the boards on the power play, by that faceoff dot, just way more than usual. Was not a big fan of the offensive effort. Now let's talk about one guy. As we said, you might bump Jeff Skinner onto that number 1 power play tonight. We had our eyes peeled on him. Pat, last game we had you try and give him a letter grade for every single shift he took. He only had 4 shifts in the first period, 6 in the second. He did get some more ice time this evening. What exactly did he end with? He ended with 12, 19. Well, would you look at that? I was looking for a big game, and we had our eyes glued to him, but I'll be honest, kind of saw a little bit of what Chris Knobloch, I think, has been seeing. He's just slow, doesn't move his feet a ton. Defensively, I'm not going to use the word useless, but really doesn't do a whole lot of anything. But the one positive tonight, he was ripping pucks. So I do think that is a reason he would look great on the Oilers' power play. Is one, we know Ryan Nugent-Hopkins is a little bit allergic to shooting. However, tonight, he did have 5 shots on goal. Pat, I'm curious your opinion on one Jeff Skinner this evening. The line blender was out all over the place this evening, and I get it. You have 11 forwards, but Skinner, he was playing with the fourth line. He was playing with the third line. He was playing with the second line. We saw him get a shift after a TV timeout with McDavid and Hyman. What do you think of Jeff Skinner tonight?
Yeah, it's tough. We've been saying it all year. Like with the line blender, to get some chemistry going, it's not easy, but there were times when he was out there with good players and on the power play. And as you said, he's just not necessarily moving his feet. And when he did get the puck, he didn't even make a good play with it. He threw it across the blue line. It got checked out of the zone, ice down. It just, it's hard. Like I liked what Zach said in the pre-gaming to maybe give him a chance on that third line. But I mean,
it's hard to justify it right now. Like I kind of get it.
It is like, and I was trying to stay positive on him at the start of the season and in the last couple of weeks here, but I have had a close eye on him lately. And like you said, I'm seeing what Nobby's seeing. He needs to get more involved in the game. He did get a couple shots today that were pretty good, but overall, like it's still a B- for me.
I just feel like it's more bad than good right now. If I were to slice that up in a pie, it would be 60% red and 40% green. Zach, your thoughts, Jeff Skinner?
Yeah, I thought it was a fine game from him. I thought he was engaged offensively, which is what you want to see from him.
Yeah, offensively.
Like, and that's the thing with Jeff Skinner. Like, that's what you want to see from him, right? But I think it's like a problem that's going on with the team as a whole right now. There's just no juice right now. There's no confidence in this team. They seem very much like they've lost it for whatever reason, because they had a couple of strong games last week. Like, I mean, that's the thing that's really frustrating. Like, they have the big win 7-3 against the Vancouver Canucks, 4-3 win over the New York Islanders, 3-2 win over the Nashville Predators. Like, those are games that you should feel good about. Like
longest win streak of the season.
Yeah, like it's always great to beat up on the Vancouver Canucks, right? We always love to see that. You know, overtime wins, those are ones that it's like, yeah, we fought for this. Like, we earned this extra point here, right? And then they kind of lay a goose egg against the Toronto Maple Leafs where they kind of coast through the third period and it ends up costing them. They're coasting in overtime. And then they just carried that over here into tonight's game. Like, I don't know if the Oilers went out and got banged up in Montreal last night and like, you know, they're all hung over and tired because like maybe there's your reason or there's your excuse, I guess, for such a
I'm okay with that,
right? Like, you know, but like in the same breath, it's like, man, like this is not a like again, and I talked about this earlier, like in the pregame, where like, you know, these things happen where like you lose to these bottom teams, and obviously like the Oilers are a bottom team right now themselves, but it's like, yeah, I don't know, man. It's a bit of a confusing one to say the least.
To be positive, it is only one game of 82. The problem with that is I've sat in this chair and said those exact words way too many times already this season. So we talked about Jeff Skinner, the balance of offense and defense, right? If you got to find that middle ground, there's one man on the back end of the Edmonton Oilers who teeters on that balance as best he can. That's Evan Bouchard. Came into tonight as public enemy number one from Nation Citizens and in this chat all over. And Zach, not shockingly, the magnifying glasses were out yet again. And we got to be fair that we don't treat every other player on this team like we do Evan Bouchard. Now, it is, I think, justified in what we do, but let's say there's examples. I think you pointed one out in the game. If Matthias Ekholm makes a mistake on a goal against, you don't see that blasted all over social media, just throwing it in your face constantly, making you kind of forcing you to think that way. They are pairing together, but with all that said, I do not think Bouch had a good game tonight. It was another rough one for him. It was, I don't know, way too lackadaisical yet again. I said that word, right? Lackadaisical. Floating around the defensive end and just flubbed a couple breakout passes, like I mentioned, inability to cleanly break it out of the zone, and just classic Bouch. Not very physical, didn't look super engaged. Not a lot of hard back checks. We saw that tweet from Bag Milk Simpsons reference where he said, I've tried nothing and I'm all out of ideas. That is what I feel about Evan Bouchard so far this season. I mean, I guess you can say he was cranking the Bouch bomb a little bit more tonight. He did have 3 shots on goal, but 22-35 of ice time tonight. The problem with that is, right, is he's paid to be an offensive defenseman and will be paid a lot more next season, whether you like it or not. But you can't just kind of be blasting pucks all over and not play the other side of the ice. You need to play to be engaged defensively, especially if you're going to play that much in a game. And I hate plus minus, But tonight, Evan Bouchard was -3 in a 3-0 game. One of those is an empty netter, but I don't think he did not have a strong game tonight. I'm curious your thoughts.
Yeah, I don't think either of the goals against were his fault.
Yeah.
I mean, you take a look at the Brendan Gallagher goal. I mean, that's Leon Draisaitl's man coming down. It's a long shot. There's not a whole lot that he can do there. And like, again, I guess I understand why people are so vitriolic right now because of some of the egregious errors that he's making. I don't think that one was on him. You look at the second goal against and same sort of a thing. Like it was, Matthias Ekholm was kind of just dangling his stick in the way of Caden Gooley. Like, where's the same comments about Bouchard that there are for Ekholm at that point too? And that's what I said to you when we were watching the game here at Nation HQ, because it's the same sort of a thing. Like he's just kind of standing there waving his stick at him. And I understand Ekholm is, on the whole, a bit of a more well-rounded player.
He gets the benefit of the doubt for a reason.
The benefit of the doubt for a reason, right? But in the same breath too, like you can't go and say, oh yeah, well this first goal is Evan Bouchard's fault, but that second
he did
goal
turn it over in the offensive end. I'm pretty sure, right?
Yeah, and I get it too. Like it happens, right? Like I don't know. I don't think it was a terrible game from him.
It wasn't as bad as the other games, that's for sure, but it wasn't good,
right? But like name one Oiler who actually like had a good game tonight, because even the Oilers' best players, McDavid or Draisaitl, like they did not look very well tonight.
We picked our good tonight, and we'll come a little bit later, and we laughed as we checked the box score and went, oh, maybe that's why I picked him as the good. And we'll save that one for now. It'll be good later on. I'm positive. Before we get in the Greta scoring summary, the Edmonton Oilers penalty kill has killed off 10 consecutive penalties right now. They can clap it up.
Round of applause.
Clap it up. It's the little things right now. I got to hang my hat on something. I'm going to hang it on said penalty kill. The Habs, they go 0 for 2. And I said the Oilers came into tonight's 8 for their last 8. And the first one is a good kill because you did it with Connor Brown in the penalty box. One of your better penalty killers on this team. And I mean, it wasn't anything special. What did the Habs come in with today for their ranked power play? Was it good? Was it bad? I should know this. It came in 10th in the NHL, 22%. That's right, top 10. So you got to give the Oilers credit. That was pretty good. Obviously, you need your best penalty killer to be your goaltender, and I thought Calvin Pickard did it. Let's try and wrap up this first half positively, Zachary. PK, solid.
Yeah, it was. I thought the penalty kill looked sharp tonight. It's a good sign. Obviously, we talked about it before the game. Only one power play goal against in their last 4 games. Make that 5 games now. This is what we want to see from this special teams unit, right? They got to get some penalty kills here. They got to get that group rolling. It seems like they found a little bit of mojo there. Yep. That's definitely one positive to pull from this game.
You can just see the chemistry building, the structure there. Communication looks better. Taking time to clear pucks out, taking a second, going, okay, going to find that gap. And then defenseman, boom, out the ice. Solid changes. Hard changes all going together. It's, as who said it in here, PK finally getting going is the only positive from this road trip so far. Hey, we did get a point in Toronto, but I agree there were not many positives in that one. Let's watch the quickest Greta scoring summary in Oilers Nation After Dark history, and it's brought to you by Greta Bar. Yeg, you know him, you love him. Favorite spot in the city, Oilers Nation's go-to spot for pre or post weekday or weekend. We're going to be there throughout the entire season for our watch parties. Hopefully the NHL playoffs, if we can in fact get there. I knocked on wood. You can't see me on camera. Greta's the spot to be. You need to cut loose on a Monday night. I could use a beer on a Monday night, but no, we're going to be back at this again tomorrow. Shout out Greta, favorite spot in the city. All right, first one of the game, 1-0 for said Montreal Canadiens. As you see it here, Habs go the other way, go around the nets, goes back to the points where, I mean, you will see a one Evan Bouchard kind of floating around here in defensive end. I've also read, but I couldn't really see it on this, that it should be Leon Draisaitl's man.
Yeah, that was Draisaitl there at the point.
So there's that as well. Bouchard, I believe, turned this puck over in the offensive end. It's just not in the clip as well. Gets redirected by one Brendan Gallagher. And stop me if you've heard this before. The Oilers allowed a goal in the final minute of a period.
Yeah, weird one too, right? I mean, it's like kind of just an innocuous shot from the point. Good deflection in front from Brendan Gallagher, who for whatever reason always seems to have good games.
That's his 8th of the season.
Yeah, like he's been having a solid start for himself. Yeah, just kind of one of those weird ones, right? Just a shot from the point. Pickard gets tipped. He's unable to make the save on the play. There's not a whole lot that you can really do on that one. I mean, you can break it up, I guess, defensively a little bit before that, but just kind of a bit of a weird one there.
A little bit of a hockey play. Let me know in the chat if you remember if Bouch did turn this puck over. I also laughed. Number one fan says, Zach, this is our San Jose game this year. What did you say to me right before we went live?
Did anybody catch Chris Novla walking across the ice? Was Paul Coffey with them? Do we have any lip readers in the chat?
This is it, man. I think this is it. So they go up 1-0 in that second period. As I said, it took 39 and a half minutes for anyone to score this evening. And you get into that third period, go online. There's some crazy things being said in the Oilers game day thread on Reddit. Not less crazy in the chat here, but still a little bit crazy. But we said, hey, you're down 1 against the 30th ranked team in the NHL. This is the Oilers. We've seen them do this. Pat, what did we do?
Irresponsibly, potentially, bet the live comeback.
Yeah, we sure did. It was up to plus 145 because I believed in this team, saying, man, I've seen this movie before. Granted, the third period efforts lately have been brutal for the Edmonton Oilers, and it continued again as one Caden Gooley, who took a Bouch bomb, I think it was, straight into like the ribs earlier in this game, and he left. He came back. I hate to shout him out, but he's a Sherwood Park local, so respect to my boy. This one, Connor and Leon, they are the ones that cannot get this puck out. It's been my word of the day lately, Pat. Fumble fuck it in their own end right here, in their own feet, gets turned over. Habs, give him credit. This was a nice, in tight, pretty passing play where Caden Gooley steps in. You mentioned Matthias Ekholm, kind of standing on tippy toes, trying to get in the way there, waving his stick, and Calvin Pickard not able to slide all the way over short side. Give Caden Gooley credit. He's a good defenseman, but he picks that little sliver short side, and the Montreal Canadiens go up 2-0, and my energy and my happiness went down a little bit, Zachary.
Yeah, this one was a tough one for sure, right? Yeah. It's like Connor McDavid loses the puck on the wall.
They were going supernova. You're like, okay.
Leon Draisaitl, he loses the puck in his skates. He's kind of caught staring right here. And then it's a quick tic-tac-toe. And, like, again, this is a pretty passing play. And, again, as I mentioned, you see, too, there, Matthias Ekholm just kind of waving his stick around. I don't think there's a whole lot different that he could do in that situation. I mean, you're just trying to kind of get your stick in the lane, and I get that. Probably one that Pickard would want to have back, too. You don't love to see those short side goals against. But he maybe was a little screen from Ekholm there. I don't know. It was a tough one, right? And, like, again, it's just – it feels like an innocuous sort of play, a quick little passing play and a fairly medium distance shot. And it's in like that. And it's just like, man, like, where are the Oilers scoring those goals? That's the thing, right? Like on both of these goals, it's not like either of them were like, real high danger looks where player got turned around and this sort of a thing. Nothing highlight reel about either of these goals. And it feels like if the Oilers aren't scoring some kind of highlight reel goal, they're not scoring goals at all. It's these kind of gritty, greasy kind of goals that make the difference in hockey games. And the Oilers cannot seem to find a way to score one of these goals right now.
Just pucks on net, as we said, not getting in the dirty areas for the Edmonton Oilers right now. And that's where you get paid. That's where the money is. That's where the gold is in that blue paint. Ryan says, felt like that kind of night. The Oilers were going to be bad. Southpaw, positive. Oilers only 4 points out of first in the Pacific. And Ryan Smith knows said you guys should save your money betting on this team, LOL. Well, Jeff Skinner shot prop cash tonight, so that's one of the few positives. Cha-ching, baby, we got that. And Pat, we know that, but we still believe in this team. And as a number one fan says, Oil Country will never die. LFG, flush it, beat the Sens tomorrow. Obviously, Jake Evans scores his 4th of the season with an empty netter. We don't need to watch that highlight. We can just rip the Band-Aid off. Oilers lose 3-0. Calvin Pickard makes 22 of 24 saves. And Sam Montembeault, is he back in the Team Canada discussion? Because he makes 30 saves on 30 shots for his second shutout of the season, I do believe. Thoughts on Montembeault tonight, Zachary? Because I don't think the Oilers had many dangerous, high-danger chances. I'm sure you have the number in front of you. But like we said, all around the perimeter, and yes, you stopped 30 of 30. He literally had a perfect night. Gold star to you. I don't think he was overly tested this evening. And like the best opportunities we had, McDavid goes psycho mode, gives it over to Zach Hyman, and he lands on the one-timer with a wide-open opportunity. What'd you think of Samuel Montembeault?
Yeah, I thought he was fine. I mean, he didn't really get tested a whole lot tonight, right? So, not much you can do there. The Oilers 10 high danger chances tonight. Not a good not a good sign. They're averaging around 13 so far this season per game, or per hour of ice time rather. So yeah, not a great game from the Oilers. Did not get to the areas they needed to. Montoya was fine. He made the saves that he needed to, and he earned that shutout.
Mr. Burns is in and says, are there any ON watch parties planned in December? I miss you all.
We miss you too.
She says, it's more fun to lose when we are together. LOL. Yeah, that is very true. That is, we're in this together. That's why we've got the chat. What did I say last year, Pat, all the time? Citywide therapy from an unlicensed therapist in myself, because we will get this through together. And we need a laugh before we get in the good, bad, the oily. So, Zach, right before the show, we waited a couple minutes before we were going to go live because you were crafting up your own Picasso painting. Do you care to share with the folks?
Yeah. Let's see it.
Cheeks, brother. Cheeks. For the podcast listeners, it's an Edmonton Oilers logo, 2 of them on both of Mike Tyson's ass cheeks.
Summarizes the game pretty well, I think.
It really does. That was an all-time moment on Friday when
hilarious.
he did that interview and then he just turned around immediately. And you're like, wait, whoa, what the hell is that?
These are the things that run through my brain after an Oilers loss. How can I make light of a situation?
Ass, the Edmonton Oilers tonight. Straight ass. Confirmed ass. Southpaw said, it's a double D on. All right, let's get into the good, the bad, the oily, and it's brought to you by, where are my cans? Oh, it's right here. Odd Company Brewing for the Nation beer, everyday lager. Oilers Nation, we're pumped to partner with Odd Company to bring you the all-new Nation beer. Perfect for game day, perfect for every day. Very good after Edmonton Oilers losses. Even better after wins, but tonight we don't get to live in that world, so go check them out. You can buy these all over the city if you checked liquorconnect.com, or there are 2 Odd Company locations in the city. Beautiful can. How many milliliters? 473. Getting a little extra bang for your buck in that bad boy. 4.5% alcohol. Trust me, boys and girls, they go down dangerously smoothly as long as you are responsible about said drinking. The good tonight. So this one we laughed at because we were sitting around going for about 5 minutes. I don't know what to really say tonight. What I went with was one Ty Emberson. You can tell we're grasping at straws here because I do think Emerson is getting better and better with every single game so far this season. And he's really added some physicality over the last couple of weeks. I always joke I traded for him in Shell this past summer, and he was laying the body big time. But to start the season, not a ton. We had some big hits this evening and playing physical. And I want everybody to remember, this is only his 47th career NHL game tonight. And right now, it just feels like he's continually making the right plays, making the smart plays, not panicking. He seems like he's adjusted well to the Oilers system. And I mean, you get Paul Coffey coaching you on the bench every single shift. You probably are going to get better and better, but he needs his flowers. And of course, he's paired with Brett Kulak, who also seems to just make the correct, smart, responsible decision, getting pucks out cleanly, not trying to do too much. And I do think Ty Emerson and Brett Kulak have both been a considerable bright spot on an otherwise very dark back end. And I think that there's a top 4 defenseman inside of Ty Emerson somewhere. He just needs time. Like I said, 47th career game. Would you agree? But the point we make, we also said he might have been the good tonight because, Zach, how much did he play?
9:58 at 5-on-5, which was the lowest amount of time of any Oilers player. However, one saving grace that I realized afterwards, he actually led the Oilers in penalty kill time. He played 2 minutes and 12 seconds on the PK, and the PK looked really good tonight. He was playing alongside Matthias Ekholm. Look, I think this is somebody who, I wrote about him a lot this summer at OilersNation.com. His numbers last year with San Jose were excellent. For a very, very bad San Jose team, he was a very big bright spot.
10 points, 30 games, too.
Yeah,
Sneaky.
He looked really good there last year. I think it's taken him a little bit to kind of make this adjustment. Obviously stepping into the NHL in general, playing his first 30 games last year, that's a big adjustment. Now, not even a full NHL season under his belt, and he's traded, right? He's got a brand new team, new adjustments, new coaching staff, new teammates, new everything. Few bright spots tonight. He was definitely one of them. 58.8% of the shot attempt share. The Oilers controlled with him on the ice at 5-on-5, 57.6% of the expected goal share. Those are very, very good numbers, and that's what we kind of want to see from a guy like Ty Emberson, is the Oilers being able to control the pace of play with him on the ice.
See, I like when we have Zach here, and I don't look at any of those analytical numbers, but I go eye test, and then you confirm that eye test for me. Let's go me. Let's go Ty Emberson. I see other people in here saying Vasily Podkolzin could be the good tonight. Pat, I see you also agree with that. What'd you think about his game tonight? He's so physical. He's just thick, man.
I think that's just what it is. Like, it's so noticeable. He's always in on the forecheck.
Yeah.
He's always hard on the puck. He's always in front of the net. The one shift, for whatever reason, he was in the net for, I think, like 30 seconds. But no, he's noticeable out there, and he's hard in the corners, gets the puck out to Draisaitl, whoever he's playing with. And yeah, maybe he's not putting up points on the scoreboard, but he's fun to watch, and you can tell he cares, and he's putting 100% into every shift. And that's sometimes all you can ask.
The give a shit meter with Vasily Podkolzin is sky high every single shift. He leads this team in hits by a mile. It's not even close.
Except
also,
tonight, it was Emberson.
Hey, my boy. Let's go. Final buzzers in. This encapsulates, big word for me, the good tonight. He says the adequate is the good. That's depressing. Very, very good point. Now, Zachary, the next one, we went with the bad tonight. What did we hit?
Yes.
I'm a man of few words, so any questions?
Nope.
All of the above? All right, let's move along to the Oily, where we said back to back, because there's no time to let this stinker sink in right now. The Oilers are going to drop the puck less than 24 hours from right now. It actually starts 30
like
minutes.
20 hours.
Yeah, it's 30 minutes less than what it was today. Stuart Skinner will be in the crease tomorrow. I'm sure that will make everybody in this chat who's freaking out, I'm sure that'll make you feel a little bit more calm. We got Stu, but the fact of the matter is, I've said this a lot, this is only one game of 82. You are going to have stinkers all throughout the year, and we don't get to focus on it. The players hopefully don't. I'm more talking selfishly that I can just delete this game from my memory right after this. Actually, never mind. We're going to have to talk about it again tomorrow at 12:01 Mountain Standard Time. Damn it. But back to back, the Oily, it's positive. You go out tomorrow, you go and shit pump the Ottawa Senators. We'll feel a lot better about this effort tonight. But that's just it, right? We said tonight, if you would have told me this was the second half of the back-to-back, I would have said, okay, I can kind of understand that. Boys are tired. You're missing Arvidsson. You're missing Darnell Nurse. You're into your reserves now. But, brother, they had a day of rest in between Saturday's game and now. And tomorrow they will not have rest, which could be good, could be bad. We called it Oily.
We did. This is a good opportunity for the Oilers to just set it and forget it, right?
Yeah.
Light the tape on fire, move on from it. You know, Ottawa, they're having a solid start to the season so far. I will say that much. They've looked good early on here. It's a really good opportunity for them to just forget about this one and move on, right? I think that's what you want to see. Now, in saying that, if you look at the historical numbers, teams on the second half of a back-to-back are not in great positions. They typically only win 45% of those games. And teams on the second half of a back-to-back with travel involved are only winning about 42% of those games.
And what about teams that have the back-to-back that have travel involved that lost the first game? I'm probably even worse. Eh?
You know what? Give me a few minutes. I can probably find that for you.
Crunch those numbers.
But probably worse. So the Oilers have to figure out a way to be the 42%. It's as simple as that. They got to come out tomorrow, and they got to find a way to get it right.
And as I said, the Canadiens, sorry. What's sorry in French? Damn it, I don't know. I tried to remember that one. Did you guys stop in grade 6?
Yes.
Yeah, I did too. Pat, what about you?
No, I'm embarrassed. I think I went to like grade 9, so I should probably know. Sorry.
Guy doesn't apologize
Yeah.
very often. This guy doesn't apologize back here. I like it. No regrets. No regrets. So that'll do it for the good, bad, the oily, brought to you by Odd Company Brewing. Let's now move to our hot and cold or boom and doom performers of the evening. Shout out the Costco guys, and it's brought to you by Oodle Noodle. We'll go with some Oodle Noodle tonight because we ordered on Saturday. It was absolutely delicious. Tonight, what did we order? Actually, probably the one positive of the night. We got burritos, and you got a donair.
Yeah.
So, I mean.
Yeah, my hot performer of the night was the delivery man. Brought it right to the door. Got a cheese donair from Queen Donair. Great spot.
And some onion rings.
Some onion rings.
And he shared with the class. So, but shouts out to Oodle Noodle, is they are running a sick-ass contest right now. Pull it up for me, Patrick. You can win free nudes for a year. Podcast listeners, down boy, that's NOODZ. Free noodles for a year and other exciting prizes because it's Nudes Miss at Oodle Noodle. Every participating location, I believe they're all 16 or 18 in Edmonton. You go down there, you get an order of whatever you need, and you can enter your name into a raffle that will be drawn, and you yourself could win free Oodle Noodle for a year. We are an Oodle Noodle company through and through over here. I eat it so much. It's unbelievable. Go to a favorite Oodle Noodle menu item.
Bunchag Yo.
Dude, that is so underrated. I got it for the first
So
time.
good, isn't it?
I didn't even know what that
It's
is, but
unreal.
you also pronounce that, I think.
Yeah, it's because I've eaten it a lot of times and I've asked how it's pronounced. So
All right, your boom or your doom performers this evening. I'm still hoping that Nico Collins has a doom performance later in this football game. Trying to win a fantasy matchup right now, but for a boom performer, Squishy says boom was Emberson's hit, I guess. It did bring the boom. But for me, I guess I'm going to take the cop out and go with one Calvin Pickard for all the reasons that we said there. He was consistent through and through. And like let's bring it into the bigger Pickard discussion because we talked today on pre-gaming. Do you see a goalie controversy? I do not. Stu's the man through and through. But it is a luxury to have a backup goaltender like Calvin Pickard that we feel this confident putting him in with all these games. We've put him in against the Dallas Stars, and he's won games before. He owns the Nashville Predators. Yes, he gets his cherry-picked matchups, but it's something that right now, nothing for the Oilers can be taken for granted, and Calvin Pickard is one of them. He's been consistent. He's been solid. He has been an adequate backup goaltender all season long. The numbers reflect this. The results reflect this. Calvin Pickard, you brought the boom tonight.
yeah, I thought Calvin Pickard was good. He was good enough for the Edmonton Oilers to win that game. And that's really all you can kind of ask for, right?
Do you have any boom? Any literally, it's like pulling teeth.
Yeah, no, it was my donaire in the onion rings.
Yeah, Pat, you got anything? You want to literally pull your tooth out on camera?
No, maybe an honorable mention to Stetcher. I thought for someone who we gave a hard time at the start of the season and someone we don't talk about a whole lot, I thought he was pretty good in our zone tonight and a couple good passes to get the puck out and breakouts. So very small, good, but just thought an honorable mention would be fine for Stetcher tonight. I thought he played good.
15-27. Dead even plus minus, one block shot. There was also one point, Pat, where he had a one-on-one battle down the ice, and I forget who it was, but obviously he was a lot bigger than Troy Stetcher, and he threw his ass on the ground, and I screamed, HDMH, height don't measure heart, and Troy Stetcher is full of it. I can actually think of one boom performer tonight that can't believe this slipped all of our minds. Connor McDavid was pretty good tonight. I thought he was on 100, I would argue. He was the only forward tonight that brought the boom as his boots were moving. We said he had 11 points in his last 4 games coming into this. Connor is so back right now, regardless of the points or whatever he put up tonight. He just looks good. And that pass and play that he made in the offensive zone around, I don't know who, for the Montreal Canadiens. I was too busy with picking my jaw up off the floor as he sent it cross crease to Zachary Martin-Hyman, who was locked, loaded, ready to shoot that puck, and he 100% completely fanned on it. It went around him, and what did we see Connor McDavid do next? Which he does not do very often. Show emotion, show anger, especially, I don't know if that was towards his teammate or frustration in the situation in general, but he grabbed his stick and smacked it right on where we noticed. They still have IGA on the center bells boards over there in Montreal, but it was weird to see some emotion like that, especially that early in the game. It maybe gives you a little insight into the Oilers' frustration level right now. But Connor McDavid brought the boom tonight.
Yeah, I thought he was engaged tonight, and that's what you want to see. There's rarely a game where he's not that way. So that was good to see. Quick shout out to Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. He had 5 shots.
He shot
tonight.
the puck.
Zach Hyman had 4 shots on goal. Nice to see that from both of those guys too.
All right, now everybody give me your booms and dooms. Or sorry, not your booms, just your dooms. Which, that's why this chat will never agree on anything. Minecraft says doom. Himes and RNH. I don't think you can say that because they were getting shots. They just obviously didn't produce. I don't necessarily think they were a huge detriment defensively, but I don't know. We all have opinions. What do I always say? Opinions are like assholes. Everybody's going to have one.
And most of them stink.
Yeah, they really do. Not ours, though. No, I'm kidding. Ours smell like shit. Dooms, Pat, can you think of anybody that you want to go stealth legends? This kind of just wraps it up in a neat bow. Doom being shut out by the Montreal Canadiens, Pat.
Yeah, Doom. I mean, there's certainly a lot of options out
You want me to just close my eyes and just pick a player on here and we'll just go with that one?
Let's just look at the Oilers lineup here for a brief second and see. Yeah, pretty much all of them.
Yeah.
But I think the main one, and maybe just not even as so much of a Doom, which is Zach Hyman just needs to get one, or I don't know what to, I can't even, because he just
needs to just come on. That's perfectly described, Patrick.
Like, yeah, I think people know what I mean.
I do. And what, Zach, what'd you tweet today? Or you said to me, look me dead in the eyes. Remember when Zach Hyman scored 50 goals?
Pepperidge Farm remembers.
I feel like I don't even remember because it feels so long ago. Zach Hyman, right, has 3 goals so far this season. We are 19 games into this NHL season. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins has 1. Adam Henrique has 2. Jeff Skinner, 2, 3. Either way, nobody's got more than 4. Nobody's got more than 5. This is also Squishy says Doom is Bouchard unable to stop his downward spiral right now. Maybe when we go back home on home ice, remember when the Philadelphia Phillies just positively cheered on Trey Turner? And they just, every time up he came into the box, they screamed for him. They let him have it in a positive way. And then he went on the ultimate hitting streak of all hitting streaks. He even came out and said that is what changed everything. Do we have to fight fire with fire and just be super positive?
Get some Bouches going.
I don't even know if I can do that. Actually, I'm never at the building, so I'll be over here. I'll be screaming Boucher's name from all the way over here. Let's move now. Talk a little bit of betting with our friends from Bet365 because Bordzy's Bankroll is brought to you by Bet365, proud partner of Oilersnation After Dark. Open an account today and bet on a huge range of markets, whatever the moment. It's never ordinary at Bet365. Download the app today. Use the code NATION. So there we see on our screens today's 3 choices. Your first one, Bordzy didn't even come close as Ekholm didn't get 3 shots. He didn't get 2 shots. He didn't even get 1 shot. He ended with a bagel. I think this is the biggest swing and miss I've taken all season where somebody didn't even come remotely close to it as Ekholm 2 block shots, -3, 21-16 on the evening. This second one, also a complete swing and miss. Oil money line did not happen. McDavid 2 points. Definitely did not happen as we couldn't even score a goal. And both of those were still minuses. And I couldn't even come close. But Skin Dog Jeffrey, number 53, he did get over 2.5 shots on goal. He ended the evening with, I believe, just a simple 3. Mm-hmm. That's all I needed. Plus 132, which we thought was a weird line. I believed in him going 11-7. And you would have thought when he got that 3rd shot on goal, the Oilers won in overtime because it was the loudest I screamed throughout the entire night. Went 1 for 3, better than 0 for 3. We'll take what we can get. Let me know in the chat if you made any profit tonight. Pat, did you? Because I think you tailed.
Yeah, no, I jumped on the Jeff Skinner over on the shot, so I did make some money there. But yeah, the live comeback, that was a bad idea on my part, I think.
Yeah, I did it too. Zach, did you make any wagers?
No bets. Still waiting to see what happens with my DFS lineups, though.
Yeah, you got a lot going on. You were showing me on another site that we shall not reference. No free shout-outs. But you were doing this thing during football, and it's like quarter drafts.
Yeah,
you
flash
can do,
drafts.
Like it's some good stuff from my boy Zachary. Go check. This guy knows the numbers. He knows the fantasy. He knows the ins and outs. Tell him about the DFS report.
Yeah, so I'm the co-host of the DFO DFS report on Daily Faceoff this season. So if you're a daily fantasy sports player, Brock Segan, one of the guys over there running the show at Daily Faceoff Fantasy,
he's a whiz.
Builds these amazing charts and projections that take a look at every single game that's happening that night, all of the matchups, all of the line stats, and then him and I dive into every slate of games Monday to Friday, 2:30 Mountain Standard Time on the Daily Faceoff YouTube channel.
Yeah, and it's a great show. I said I play daily from time to time. I also just play regular fantasy, but I think, like, I know it's a daily fantasy show. I still get a lot of good information out of you guys that I'm currently not applying my team because all I do is keep losing, but I digress. We don't want to hear about my fantasy team. One thing, where's my mouse on my computer? There it is. Let's give a quick shout out here though to Jasper, the town of Jasper, because we have got these beautiful shirts for the love of the game, because we all know what happened to the Jasper community this past summer, as there was a wildfire that came through the town, and they are still trying to rebuild right now. Devastated the town, displaced families all over the province, all over the country, destroyed up to 30% of all structures. And as they rebuild, hockey remains a vital lifeline for their kids, a way to stay active, connected, and resilient. Season's going to be hard for these hockey kids in the Jasper Minor Hockey Bears. Their rink is out of commission. Their players have to travel long distances for games. They have to play over 30 road games this season. Managed with limited facilities, practices become incredibly difficult. Financial burden is incredibly heavy. So we're going to do our part. We've teamed up with Jasper Minor Hockey. You can get these bad boys, black, gray, t-shirt, crew neck, whatever you want at nationgear.ca. Proceeds go towards helping local kids in Jasper keep playing the game they love. For the love of the game, as you see right there on your screen, I recently got mine, and let me tell you, A, looks fantastic. Shout out Kennedy. She makes these super sick logos. And B, the fabric, the material of this sweatshirt is like, I could sleep in it, brother. It is so super soft. Highly recommend them. Pat just threw in the link, nationgear.ca. And it's the holiday time. If you want to give back to community and cross off a gift for a loved one, you can get, as Ricky from Trailer Park Boys would say, 2 birds stoned at once. Zachary, how sick are these shirts?
Oh, they're great. They look so good. Yeah, they are.
Kennedy does good work.
Oh, she does. She does amazing work. And it supports a great initiative too.
Yep, absolutely. So we can close it out here. My final one. Do we all discuss Josh Brown? What do we think about him this evening? We did discover that you can put Brown and Brown on the ice together with jerseys that don't say C Brown or J Brown. So we did confirm that today. I thought Josh Brown struggled to get, he was one of those guys that struggled to get pucks out of his own end. The one thing I could say that he did well, he almost got in a fight, it looked like, in the bottom of the screen as play was going the other way. Really wanted that one, because the Oilers obviously would have won the game. They are undefeated when they drop the gloves. Brownie's Connor Brown. Damn it, this is going to be like Skinner again. Skin dog, skin daddy. Joshua, he was at least battling in front of the net, right? He's a very big physical dude who gets in those scrums, and he was competing in front of the net. Now, to be honest, I don't know how many of those battles he won, but he was trying. Zachary, first impressions of Josh Brown, because he's going to be here for 3 years.
Yeah, about as advertised, and he wasn't advertised as a very good defenseman. So, sweet. Yeah, no, I don't know.
No, that pretty much summed it up pretty well right there.
He's big and he's strong and he's physical, and you like to see that. But, you know, the Oilers as a whole were outshot tonight 30-27 with Connor, or with, see, look, I'm even it out. God, with Josh Brown on the ice, the Oilers were outshot 10-3, which was the worst rate of any individual Oilers player tonight, which is not a good sign. I thought that he had some issues. He had some struggles. Clearly not very strong in moving the puck, and that is definitely an issue. So he should probably be in Bakersfield for the next 2.5 years.
Yeah, but don't worry. He's going to be around for a while. I'm seeing people in here. Oh, Mr. Burns says it is currently one of my favorite t-shirts. Comfy as hell. Confirmation from one Mr. Burns. Shout out. Go get some Jasper Minor Hockey. Also, Sky's in and says, your Remchuk said Oilers blowout, LOL.
I said it too.
To be fair, so did I. I think if you pulled every single Oilers fan tonight, the Habs were 30th in the NHL right now.
I literally predicted a shutout at the start of the game.
Partial credit. You were half right. Just got the logos wrong, Patrick.
Got it mixed up.
Attaboy. What are you guys blaming Tyler right now? Guys, he doesn't play on the ice, right? He can't score goals for the team.
Well, that's your Remchuk. God damn it. If he would just shoot the puck more, I tell you.
I like Dave here. Josh Brown looked like a deer on the ice on that PK. Hey, looked a little lost. I was kind of struck in the headlights. All right, that'll do it for us tonight. We can finally bury this game. Zach, thanks for joining me. You were here for pregame and here for postgame, and I think we're going to be getting a little bit more of you as the season progresses. Patrick, always doing a bang-up job behind the scenes. I couldn't do a single thing without my producers, Brett and Pat. They do it all. As I know, I am also a fellow producer. It's a lot more work than just sitting over here rambling the entire time. Shout out to our sponsors. Also, was that a sneeze?
A little cough.
Okay, I was going to bless you, but I didn't want to unjustly bless you.
Still bless me.
No, curse you.
Oh.
Shout out Greta for the scoring summary. Odd Company for the good, bad, the oily, oodle noodle, hot and cold, boom and doom performers. Bet365 for Bordzy's Bankroll. And go buy a t-shirt or a crew neck from nationgear.ca. I love you all. Throw it on your courtesy like. I need them tonight on a night like this. You said this was a tough one to do tonight, man. And I think we did a good job. Tried to find a way to spin it positively. But to be honest with you, can't really do it right now, but there's a quick opportunity tomorrow to shut all of us up, come out, shit pump the Ottawa Senators, who are 8-1 right now. Much better record than the Montreal Canadiens. So theoretically, it should be a more difficult matchup. Percy says it best. Let's go smash the Sens. And you know what else should get smashed? The like button, because we're currently at 28 likes. How are we doing out there, people? Throw one down, a little courtesy. Make sure you are subscribed. I love you all. We'll see you tomorrow, 12:01 Mountain Standard Time for Oilers Nation every day. And I'll catch you again pre-gaming tomorrow, 4 p.m. Puck drop is 5 p.m. in Ottawa at Canadian Tire Center.
Yes.
Could you name all 30 rinks?
No.
32 rinks?
I don't even think I could name 5 right now.
Just kidding. We're not going to do that. Good night, everybody. I love you.